Who would believe that already the month of May is over, and for Australia that means that we are jumping into winter already. Unbelievable. So we're going to have a little bit of look at what happened at Koala Gardens during May. There's so much biodiversity to see. You are going to be amazed at everything I found for you. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Koala Gardens. I'm Katrina and I'm passionate about saving koalas. I have a wildlife sanctuary and you get to share the experiences here with me. I also help create a beautiful series of children's books based on the animals here on the property. And now, sit back and enjoy the video. Sunrise out of my kitchen window during May typically looks like this. Lots of fog to start the mornings off. We're going to move through in alphabetical order again this month because that's easiest for me to organise, and that means we're going to start with Bullet in one of his classic sleeping positions. This month Bullet was always in the really big mature trees way up high. If you adopt a koala from Koala Gardens and become one of the Keeping in the Loop family, then for just the cost of a coffee and cake each month, you'll get lots of insider information on what's going on in these videos you see. You'll get exclusive information that only the Keeping in the Loop people get. Now, let's just have a look at what's going on here. Can you guess what would come along and actually dig up pavers, right? So some pavers have been pulled right out and put to the side, and others are standing right up on their end. Do you know what would do that? A native Australian animal? I'm going to let you know at the end of the video. And the gorgeous Miss Ellie. Look at how much she is growing. She's really developing that lovely round shape that we want to see in a female koala, because that's a great indication of health, as is being up in the treetops early in the morning. She's eating as much as she can, and we couldn't ask for more. A big happening on the property this month was the conversion of my back boundary fence to what we call a wildlife friendly fence. So what that means is that some fantastic people came and were paid to remove all of the barbed wire from the top and the bottom of the fence. I have to have fencing here because my neighbour on the other side of the fence does have cattle on the property at times. But the top and the bottom line of a fence is where almost all wildlife get caught up. So what you can see is it is now plain wire along the top of the fence, and this is nearly 400 metres of fencing and along the bottom of the fence. So there's that bottom line. You can see it is now no longer barbed wire. So any wildlife, such as koalas, who try to go under the fence can't get caught up on the barbs like what we can see there in the middle. And with the barbs removed from the top of the fence, when the wallabies jump over the fencing, then they won't get caught up either. Here's a few of the beautiful flowers on the property. Hibiscus, I admit, is not a native, but this grevillea is definitely a native and a huge bird attractor. And nasturtiums. I love growing food that I can enjoy to look at and eat. Friends of the koala have been coming and cutting lots of leaf again during May. So here are some of our fantastic Friends of the Koala workers, leaf coming out of the plantation. At the moment they're coming 2 days every week, and they're also coming one other day a fortnight. So you can see loads of beautiful leaf coming out of the plantation to feed the koalas in care. This is a dwarf tree frog. They are tiny and gorgeous. People have been asking to see more of the property, so here's a little bit of one of my garden areas. You can see there's a mix of natives, tomatoes, nasturtiums, other herbs growing in here. I like to plant things together holistically. This is actually not a native, this is milkweed, and milkweed is the host plant for the monarch butterfly. We've got herbs here, parsley, that's another herb, that's a type of basil. And let's have a look at some bird life. This is the grey fantail, which is a native Australian bird. They are very fast moving. I can't believe this one stayed this still long enough, and there it's gone. And just above the grey fantail, oh look, it's Matilda. So this is right down the back of the property in one of Matilda's favourite areas. And here's Hugo. Now that's the best shot I was able to get of Hugo all month. Again, if you adopt a koala with the keeping in the loop option, you'll hear the full story of what's going on with Hugo and the territory he's using. You're probably aware that 3 gorgeous youngsters came into the Kindy during May. So we have Carlisle and Swifty and Koala. It's like a koala totem pole, isn't it? I think just about everybody the world around knows the Kookaburra song. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree. This is one of many laughing kookaburras that live on the property. They are quite amazing birds. If you're interested in them, I can show more of them and talk about them in another video. They have the most amazing territorial sound, which literally sounds like somebody just cracking up laughing, and I can never hear their sounds without smiling myself, and I wake to the sound of them every single morning, and I will never get tired of them. A really different bird to the kookaburra is this tiny little bird, which is the brown honeyeater, another native bird, and you can see that it's busy feeding in the grevilleas. Magpies are meat eaters. You can see that one has a little frog, and they're ground feeders. Magpies actually feed by walking along the ground and picking up anything edible that they can find, unlike birds that hunt on the wing. I hold a market stall twice every month where I promote the books from the Adventures of Mist and talk to people about what's happening with koalas and the environment. And on to Queen Matilda. Matilda was the koala that I saw the most on the property all this month. She was here rain or shine. Not every single day, but she spent a lot of her time here, and she has a particular area of the property that she likes to use the most. We are still hanging on the edge of our seats, waiting to find out whether Matilda actually has a joey in pouch or not. If she does, her pouch must be getting to be quite a size now, because if she has a joey in pouch, I would imagine that it should be emerging around July or August. So hopefully during June we're going to settle this one way or another. And if you thought this was a picture, nope. She was sleeping so soundly, it looked like everything was still for just a moment. I love the tones and colours down in this area of the property. And here's a monarch caterpillar. So even though it's winter, the monarchs breed and move about the property all year round. Even though they're not a native, they don't predate on any native butterflies, so I'm happy to encourage them. And we were so excited, weren't we, during May when Phoenix came back and showed us this gorgeous 9-month-old Joey that she's been toting about, and we really would like to see more of this, so I'm hoping very much that she'll drop back in once, maybe even 2 or 3 times in June. Even once would make us happy. The day after she had been here, I went for a walk right up through that area to really make sure that she wasn't up there anywhere. And even though I couldn't find her, I had a bit of a hunt around underneath this tree that they're sitting in. And look what I found. Mama scat and little baby scat. So that is from Phoenix and her Joey. The green tree snake has set up absolute home in this nesting box. We saw some of this one last month. Now this snake is probably about the width of maybe 2 of my fingers, so it's not a very wide snake, but I'd guess that it's 2, maybe even 2.5 meters long, slowly uncoiling itself out of the nesting box. These snakes are not poisonous, they're in the python family, so they actually crush their victims, and you can see by how thin the snake is that it lives on small animals and definitely lives up in the trees. You might have heard we have some awesome spiders in Australia. Well, that spider web that you can see there is about 2 to 3 feet in diameter. So it hosts one awesome spider. I was so excited when I saw this movement out of the corner of my eye, and look at that. That's a swamp wallaby. I hadn't seen a swamp wallaby for months and months, and I very nearly missed this one, which always reminds me that an awful lot more wildlife sees me than what I manage to actually see. Now these birds are native pigeons, and they're called, it's a pretty inventive name, the white-headed pigeon. You can see why they have that name. This is a pair that are preening up in this eucalypt down the back of the property. They're a really large pigeon, and I've got a lot of them on the property. Here's a photo of one back at the house. And now one of our really small birds. This is a little native willy wagtail flitting about in Matilda's tree while I'm filming. And now the answer to what could lift those pavers. Do you know what that is? Yep, that's an echidna. They eat ants and they'll dig anything to get to them. And you've made it right through to the end of yet another video. So, would you take a moment to make sure you've liked the video and write in the comments below, amazing May. Thanks for watching. Thanks for visiting Koala Gardens. Did you hit the like button? Now before you go, there's lots more great video to see, and make sure you've subscribed and hit that notification bell.